Hello, and welcome to the Awakening to Abundance podcast. I'm so glad you're here. This is the first official episode. You may have heard the trailer. It was like a minute and a half long, but we're going to go a little bit more into what is this thing that is the Awakening to Abundance podcast today. And we're going to get to know that this is more than just a podcast. It's a whole experience. First off, awakening to abundance in itself is its own journey. And it's going to be different for you and 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 for you, right? Just as it was different for me. And while I'm going to share my story, my hope is that you will see yourself in the stories, or you will hear things that feel really resonant inside and kind of click for you. Because the whole point of this podcast, the whole point of this experience, the whole point of this journey is actually to find the answers within yourself, to find that still voice that speaks to you, whispers the truth to you, that one that you may not fully know just yet, but you will after this podcast, and it will be your own voice. And so whatever you hear during the podcast, whether it's from my story or interviews with other abundance people, or it's through meditation or through any of the alignment practices, whenever you hear it, really think about and feel into if it resonates with you. And if it doesn't, that's totally fine. And if it does, all the better. But this is also more than just a journey. This is also more than just a podcast. This is a community. Because here's the thing, this journey that you're on right now, it is so much better in community. It is so much better co-creating. It is so much more abundant when we allow for all of the universe to come in every single different way it could possibly do that. And that includes being in community with other people, whether the abundance comes in via a thought or an insight or an idea or a friendship or a collaboration or money, clients, whatever, right? When we open ourselves up to be in community with others, often our abundance flows even more freely. And especially as entrepreneurs or people who are creative and doing one specific endeavor, sometimes we can get really siloed in that and not want to include other people, right? Not really reach out, not be a part of a community. And so that's what this podcast community is here for. It's here to help you develop upon your journey. It helps you get feedback from other people in the community on your creative endeavor, on your manifestations, right? You get to listen, to connect to one another. Abundance is also connecting to all that is, and that includes the other humans that are on this journey with us, right? So speaking of that, I will never be your sage on the stage. I am your guide by your side. Because here's the thing, awakening to abundance, growth, expansion, higher consciousness, it doesn't end, ever. Even I believe if you become close to or an enlightened being, you still have things to learn from the world, from your community, from everyone around you, right? And so while I'm here to guide you, again, what the truth is what comes from inside of you, and that is your truth. And so there will be days and there will be interviews and there will be moments where I am superhuman and I'll cuss and I'll show my human side, and because that's part of my personality, right? I mean, how much fun is that, right? Why would we want to not show that side of us? And I'm not going to blur anything. I've got my yoga mat out. In the first video in the trailer, I actually have a little water stain on the coffee table. I did move something to cover that up. But you know what? It doesn't matter, right? You're not here to judge me. I'm not here to judge you. We're here on this journey all together. And the other part of that is oftentimes we try to make everything perfect, right? And none of us are. And when we reach for that perfection, oftentimes we get so wrapped up in it that we never actually do the thing that we set out to create. We get too wrapped up in looking perfect or having certain outcomes attached to whatever our creation, whatever our manifestations are, right? And so we slow it down, or maybe perhaps we never started at all. So none of that here. We get to be exactly who we are. And that is flawed human beings and human beings who have water stains in different places. And also, I have decided that I am a woman who lives in different places at different times. So over the episodes that we will be doing together, you'll see me in different places. Sometimes you'll see me in Seattle. Sometimes you'll see me in Monterey. Sometimes you'll see me here in LA. And I've set up my life, I've manifested my life in a way that I own my own business, I have my own podcast, and I'm able to see the world while doing that. And that brings me great joy, fulfillment, and abundance, because part of the other thing that I love to do, and you'll see this in the podcast, is I love adventuring, exploring, getting to meet new people, getting to experience different cultures. I believe that one of my reasons for being here is my enjoyment of this world, of this 3D reality, of this time and place that we're in right now. And I want to hear the stories of people who are doing exactly what they want to do in life. I want to be inspired. I want to be lit up. I want to be part of the fullness of life of other people. And abundance, to me, is the fullness of life. And that includes all energies, right? That includes money. That includes love. That includes health. That includes creativity. That includes everything that you could possibly imagine, right? The fullness of life. And here's a little secret. The thing is, when you have an abundant outlook, it doesn't actually matter what energy you're trying to play in, bigger, more, manifesting. It's all the same energy because it's all one, right? And so when we can take a different perspective, when we can tap into abundance mindset, when we can tap into the infinite possibilities, it's really a shift in energy. It's really a shift in perspective that can then be applied to every aspect of your life. And that's why abundance itself, for me, is the fullness of life. Because it's not an abundance in one particular area. It's more than that. It's bigger than that. It's higher than that. It's a state of being. It's a state of consciousness. So I'm so excited that you're here with me, that we're on this abundance journey together. We've got that Facebook group. You can find the link in the show notes and in the description. Come play with us. Come be in community. Come co-create. And just a little bit more about the episodes. So some episodes are going to tell a story, right? The story of awakening to abundance. Others are going to be interviews, as I mentioned earlier, with other people. So we get to hear their fullness of life stories, get inspired by that. Some are just going to be meditations. Some are going to be alignment practices. Some are going to be masterclasses. But it's all going to be around awakening to abundance and manifestation and creating our reality. And the episodes will actually be dropping after this week. We'll get into a rhythm. Every Tuesday and Thursday, you'll have a new episode. And it'll list, obviously, what kind of episode it is. And let's see, what else do I need to tell you? What it is, how often. I've got a little note here for myself. We're keeping it real, y'all. We are so keeping it real. The community. I just want to touch back on the community again. I've created an email podcast at abundancewithathena.com. And of course, you can DM me on Instagram at abundancewithathena. I want to hear from you. Your community wants to hear from you. We want to know what's resonating with you. We want to know what questions you have. Because here's the thing. Although everything is individual, and although you are tapping into that inner wisdom to listen and to have it guide you, a lot of the human things that we go through are often shared between humanity, right? So if one person has a question, you probably have a very similar question, or you have in the past, and you can help them. They can help you. And then also, it's really helpful for us to bring our community even into the bigger podcast world, right? Because if you have a burning question in the community, then that allows me to see that and then bring it to the wider community of people, the world, the podcast community, right? So you're literally co-creating this with me. We're doing this in community. And the last thing I'll say, I said a little bit earlier about manifesting and this whole other side of me that just loves to travel and go to different places and things like that. And there's a lot of beautiful manifestations coming down the pike. I'm really interested in Hawaii and really interested in doing some time in Italy and some stuff on the East Coast for the holidays. So I'll be moving and grooving and that kind of thing. And I'd love for you to keep up with me with all that too, especially if you love to travel. And DM me any of your fun travel hacks, tips, etc., right? Because abundance is the fullness of life. It means all parts of us, right? And manifesting our desires is a huge part of abundance. And we'll talk more about all of that. But I want to tell you just a quick little bit of my story because you're going to hear a lot of the story in the actual podcast. So about 5 years now ago, I started awakening a little bit. I really was a big fan of Jen Sincero, still am. All of her books, love them so much. And she writes the You Are a Badass books. And I read the first couple of her books, and then I just kind of waited. I was just like, oh, wow, that was really great. It was so expanding and really opening. But then I was just like, well, what next? I'm not sure why I didn't think to look up other books, but I just kind of sat there and was like, all right, what next? Go ahead, universe, do your thing. And nothing happened. And I kept on asking for something to happen. And looking back on it now, I realized that I really wasn't ready fully to blossom. And I certainly didn't know at the rate that life would come at me, for me, with me, because of me, that would lead me to here. But the beginning was a shift in my outer world, as it often is for many people, right? I got married to someone in the military, and I remember thinking at that point, my mind opening up to the fact that the conditioning, the programming, and when I say conditioning and programming, I mean things we were taught by our family, our friends, society, church, whatever it is growing up, right? These ideas, these thoughts, these beliefs. Those patterns, conditioning, thoughts of what a successful life wasn't going to actually be what a successful life looked like for me because I'm a military spouse now. And so everything that I had thought, like go to college, get a job, start a family, be in one place for pretty much my entire life, that wasn't going to match with what I had grown up with. And so that was the first time that life and the universe kind of tapped me on the shoulder and was like, yeah, think differently. Open your mind to something that could be a little bit different. And from there, I feel like it's just gone, whew, and a lot has happened. And again, we'll get more deeply into this, but a lot had to rock my world, the world that I was then creating after that little mini opening. And then I had created this whole other world, which I can say now at this time, that world that I had created has completely collapsed and is completely something new. And just like my world previously that I had been conditioned and patterned and programmed to became something completely different, it has become something even more different now. And while there were moments where my human part of me, my human emotions, my embodiment was in great pain, I wouldn't change any of it. Any of it. Because I am who I am now. And I also know that 2025 Athena and her world here is just going to continue to expand and grow and probably become unrecognizable, just like the other two worlds have. And part of this beautiful awakening to abundance is understanding that and knowing it and feeling it in our guts. And at one hand, being detached, and then on the other hand, manifesting our desires, being motivated by the fact that we are so good with the way that life is unfolding. We are so accepting of this present moment. We are so accepting of ourselves. We trust and love the universe, God, spirit, source, whatever you want to use. You get to put in any spiritual jargon that makes you feel good. And that state of being is abundance, because the good, the bad, the success, the failure, none of that is really real. It's all a perspective that we have. It's all a perception that we have in our mind. And the more that we can move into higher states of consciousness, into the fullness of this existence, of this life, and float, the easier it will be, but the more meaningful it is, because you are the deliberate creator. And you get to manifest all of your desires. And this is actually one of the most beautiful experiences you can awaken to. And when you awaken to this possibility, to the infinite possibilities for yourself, you automatically become that for everyone around you. So by listening to this podcast, by being part of the community, by going for what it is that really lights you up, by moving into higher states of consciousness, you not only make the world a better place. I was going to say you don't just make yourself a better place, but the whole point is you make the world a better place, and you do. And that's the bigness and the grandness of abundance. And that's how abundance works. It's always multiplied, and it's always here for us. And so I'm so excited for you and this community, and I'm so glad you're here. And I am here for you. This community is here for you. Welcome. to the Awakening to Abundance podcast experience. I am so glad you're here.